Hey boys and girls, Mr. Beard here with your class recap for Monday, April 9th. So we're back in the swing of things here. Hopefully you had a great spring break and you're recharged and you're ready to finish strong as we only have 6 weeks left to the year here. We started today by taking out a piece of paper to get this week's bell ringer. And the first thing we had to do was create a, quote, grocery list of things you did. Just 5 things you did over spring break. It doesn't have to be much detail. Just give me 5 things. And the reason we're doing this is creating a grocery list style of pre-writing is a great brainstorming exercise before you have to write about a topic. Gets you thinking about some possible options, and you start simple, and then you can go in more detail after you've listed them out. So that's what we're doing here. You've just 5 things you did over spring break. Even if you didn't go anywhere, maybe you hung out with your uncle, maybe watched a baseball game. Just 5 things. And then if they were caught up with readings and of Mice and Men, you will read your SSR book. If you're not all the way through section 3, is where you need to be now, because we do have our section 3 quiz tomorrow on Tuesday the 10th. So if you're not all the way up through section 3, we just read for 5 minutes. So take that time to get some reading done. If not, you're going to have to check out a book and get that reading done at home. The next thing we talked about was sensory details. A sensory detail is just any detail that uses one of the 5 senses. These are very powerful for writers. It's a powerful tool for writers because when you hear about the senses or read about the senses, it really puts you in a scene, whether you're writing a fictional story or an essay or even a prompt for the ECAs, SATs, so forth. So we have this model sensory details chart where they picked a specific event, a day at the beach. So you're at the beach. What kind of things do you see with the sense of sight? What kind of things do you see at the beach? Well, people laying on the beach towels, children playing, the sparkling water, the sand. These are all things you see. Sounds. You hear people talking and kids playing. You hear the lapping of the water coming up against the surf. Maybe you hear a lifeguard's whistle from far away. These are all sounds you hear. Smells. You smell that ocean air. You smell that kind of fishy smell from dead fish being around. And suntan lotion. Now, smells can be very powerful because they really put your reader there. So when you talk about suntan lotion, boom, it's a specific smell we've all smelled. And so you're there. You're transported to that scene. Tastes, the taste of salt water in your mouth, a hot dog from the concession stand. Feelings, textures, the feeling of sand between your toes and that really hot sand under your feet, the feeling of the sun on your back, sweat in your eyes from running around and swimming. These are all things that you can feel and touch. The next thing we had to do was fill out our own sensory detail chart where we picked an event as a class. Each class had a different event. One class, for example, had the fair. Concert was one, fair was another. So let's talk about fair. So for the event's a fair, what kinds of things do you see at the fair? Well, you see the lights on the rides. You see all kinds of huge banners flowing around everywhere. Advertising rides and events and items you can buy. Kinds of things you hear at fair. Well, you hear the music coming off these rides, the carousel music. Maybe there's a concert kind of far off in the distance. You hear that. You hear vendors calling out, advertising their booths. Smells. You smell all the different kinds of foods. You got your hot dogs. You've got elephant ears and all these different smells bombarding you. The smell of the sweat from all these people. Tastes. You've got hot dogs and pizzas and all kinds of different things you can eat. Feelings, textures. The feeling of the bar of the ride. When it's kind of sweaty, or the feeling of the stickiness of the counter when you go up to the counter at one of the concession stands. These are all feelings and touches. The next thing we had to do was find at least 3 sensory details in the opening section of Mice and Men of Chapter 3, Section 3. All right, and after we picked out sensory details, the last thing we did was review for tomorrow's quiz by going over some vocab. These are on our website, so you can go ahead and go through those and review your vocab words yourself and prepare for tomorrow's quiz. And that's it for today. Thanks for listening.